Hello, my name is Hakim with Tech of Experts. This video is for painting contractors who are debating whether they should put more focus on commercial painting or to go for the quote-unquote easier, simpler residential painting projects. I was a painting contractor myself for many years, and I don't think everything in residential painting was necessarily easier or less stressful than commercial painting. I enjoyed commercial painting projects more than residential projects due to various factors, the main one being, of course, the larger contract amounts. There are pros and cons to both. Now, we could debate for an hour, but I will talk about what some other painters have told me, and I will also discuss the pros and cons I experienced while I was operating my own painting business. You can then reflect on them based on your personal experiences, and then you can decide where you want to focus more, residential or commercial painting. So let's look at them. So first, let's start with residential painting. When I asked a few painting contractors, I was doing a little bit of a survey. Why don't you bid on commercial painting projects? Here are some of the actual responses that they gave me. Most of them were negative. Number one, it takes too long to get paid. Number two, the GC expects us to do touch-ups at the end of the project for free. Number three, the profits are not large enough. And there are some other responses which they gave me, which I don't remember, but these are the three main ones that I wrote down. Now, here are the pros and cons that I experienced myself. Pros: smaller jobs, relatively speaking, of course. They require basic painting gear, do not need large crews, you get paid faster, and technically less complicated overall. Now, no need to discuss the pros in any more detail. It is the cons that contractors worry about more. The cons I experienced in residential painting. The first one is picky clients. Some homeowners are picky, which cuts into the profits when callbacks are requested. So I'll give you some examples. Due to the power of cell phones now, some homeowners take 10-20 pictures and send it to the painting contractor and claim that they are deficiencies. For example, one lady customer was looking at walls where my painters had been painting with a flashlight. Now that sounds a little bit funny. Now that would not happen in a commercial painting job because the expectations are different. Painting inspection rule is you have to look at vertical walls at a distance of 1 meter at 180 degrees, which means straight, not from a 45-degree angle. So I had to educate that homeowner on that issue. And it's not happened once, it has happened a few times. Another disadvantage is low profit. Unless you are very good at marketing to high-end clients in affluent neighborhoods and or have built a client base over a few years, you get a lot of homeowners wanting the lowest price, especially with all the websites that are marketing painting services. The other disadvantage is seasonal highs and lows. Now we all know about that. Many homeowners want to wait till springtime to paint their home, especially in colder places. When you are busy yourself with exterior projects, they want to get their interiors done. The other one is marketing costs. You have to make a lot of efforts marketing or spending money on advertising. So the customer acquisition cost is high. The cost for acquiring one customer, that's called the acquisition cost. The customer acquisition cost is high. In commercial painting, once you get on the bidding list of the GC, you keep on getting invites to bid on many projects every week, every month. The other one is unrealistic expectations. So some homeowners did not understand why I was not rolling walls alongside my painters. They did not understand I have to work on bids, I have to do administration work, bookkeeping, invoicing, meeting other clients, going to look at jobs, going to purchase materials, etc. Another example is some homeowners expected that the cost of painting should be $25–30 an hour, same as a painter's wage. They do not understand it costs money to run a business, especially homeowners who do not work for a business, who are working in some kind of a simpler job. And the business, they don't understand that. And the business needs to make provisions for slow seasons and also make some money, or at least be able to pay the owner's salary. In commercial painting, that is not an issue at all, because commercial clients understand the concept of and the need for profit. For example, if you are painting an office, there are managers there are other staff, and they all understand that you're running a business to make a profit. So we'll come to commercial now. So I'll talk about cons and how you can overcome them. Now, I will give you a list of challenges in commercial painting, but I will also tell you how you can overcome these challenges based on my personal experiences in the industry. So challenge number 1, larger undertaking. Some projects may be too large for your crew size or your financial ability, such as schools or multiple locations of a renovation project. Now, how can you overcome that? Well, you can sub out sections of the project to other independent, self-employed painters, or any painter really who needs work at the time you have to do that project. I did that on several commercial projects myself, when I suddenly found myself having to do 5 locations in a period of 1 month. So I was given a 5 to 6 week window to finish 5 locations. I'll show you pictures on the screen right now, but it is doable. You have to be good at communicating with other painters or self-employed painting contractors to recruit the extra temporary help you need for your project. The second challenge is equipment. Some projects will require using scissor lifts or scaffolding, which you don't get in residential painting. So you need scissor lifts, scaffolds, telescopic booms, etc. And your painters may not be certified to use such equipment. Now, government and GCs are getting stricter on safety issues. The solution is simple. Get your tickets for fall safety and elevated work platforms such as scissor lifts and telescopic lifts. It is not difficult at all. I got my painters to train on that, and they got their tickets, and so did I myself, for my own usage of the scaffolds, scissor lifts, etc. It also boosts the morale of your painters to get an additional certification, so to speak. Now, that's what I experienced with my own painters. They felt really good after spending a couple of days in the classroom and getting the training for fall safety, using the harness, and getting their AWP platform training. Confidence. You might not have the confidence to bid on projects that are higher than what you are used to. So, for example, something over $20,000 might be outside your current comfort zone. I used to be in that position myself. The way you can overcome this is to go back to your files and see how you went from doing small jobs to doing bigger jobs in the residential projects. Think of commercial projects of, say, painting a large office building as painting 10 houses. It's no big deal really. It's very similar work. It's just more spread over a few more days or an extra 1 or 2 weeks, or it's done in different phases. So now let's talk about the pros. Let's talk about the positives. One of the biggest pros is marketing is easy. And that's ironic because the projects that you are going after are actually much bigger than residential projects. You can start bidding on commercial projects literally within a week from now, within a week of watching this video. You don't have to spend 6 months and a whole lot of money advertising to slowly build clientele. You can get on the bidding list with several GCs. One of my previous videos talks about how to get commercial painting contracts. You can search for that video on my YouTube channel. The other advantage is larger dollars. Now, this is obvious. Even if your profit margin is sometimes smaller, so if your profit percentage is smaller, you can still do pretty well if you have several painters at a job site, at a commercial job site, producing work, rather than working with just a couple of painters on a residential repaint project, or a new house project, for example, a new construction, single house or duplex, etc. The analysis of profitability is a whole topic for another day in another video. The other advantage is professional look and feel. You can manage the job as a proper painting contractor rather than be rolling the walls yourself, and it feels good. Now, that is what I experienced myself. Once I was short of a painter, and I started rolling some walls at the job site, and the site supervisor was surprised that I was doing the painting rather than directing the crew and running my business, because he had never seen me painting before at the job site. I had just been bringing my painters, giving them the materials, and giving them instructions in the work order. So as a contractor, you are supposed to be working on bids and finding work for your painters, not spending your whole day at the job site cutting and rolling walls and cutting into your painters' work hours. Finally, don't become intimidated with all the fancy terms in commercial painting. Many contractors started in residential before they moved into commercial painting. I did that too. Some started as employees for commercial painting companies and then went on to become commercial painting contractors themselves. I've met those painters myself, and I've hired those painters myself on some of my projects as subcontractors. So here is, I think, the most important question for this video that you need to ask. How do you transition from bidding mostly on residential painting jobs, including new houses, of course, to bidding on more commercial painting projects? I will discuss that in my next video, which will be titled How I Transitioned to Commercial Painting, or something like that. I will put some input from my own experiences, so watch out for that video. In the meantime, I wish you success in your painting projects, and I will see you in my next video.